So hello friends, welcome to a new episode of the Tyre Trail Talk. It's I think the episode 3. Today we are talking about Schwalbe tires again. The past month I've been riding the Nobby Nic as a front tire. It's the 2.4 version in the Super Ground casing with the SpeedGrip compound, so with the blue stripe. I've switched to this tire from my trusty wickedwill, which I've been using almost the whole summer as the front tire. I got my hands on this Nobby Nic, so I thought why not give it a try, since I've liked the old version of the Nobby Nic. It's probably my favorite tire that I've ever tried. I wanted to give the new Nobby Nic a try, and also I think 2 years ago I've been using the 2.4 version also of the new Nobby Nic, but in the soft casing, which I found okay-ish, but I will later explain why I prefer the SpeedGrip version of the Nobby Nic. Also today morning I have switched my rear tire. Yesterday I did a ride with Racing Ray as the rear tire. Since the Racing Ray is now 2 seasons old, it shows some signs of wear. That's why in those autumn and winter conditions,
here drizzle, cold, frightened,
with moist and damp leaves, roots and slippery rocks, it can get overwhelmed on some descents. I've decided to use the wickedwill, which was my front tire, as the rear tire now. In this Tyre Trail Talk we have the Nobby Nic 2.4 SpeedGrip Super Ground as the front tire and the wickedwill 2.4 SpeedGrip Super Ground as the rear tire. We compare them to the Maxxis combinations I've been discussing in previous 2 Tyre Trail Talks. So stay with me to the end of the video, find out what I think about this tire combination, how does it compare to my previous tire combinations I have tried out. Don't forget to leave a like for me and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss the following Tyre Trail Talks and other videos. See you in the next one. Bye. So as mentioned in the intro, over the past a month and a half, I've been riding the Nobby Nic 2.4 Super Ground SpeedGrip as the front tire, together with my trusty old Racing Ray, which is slightly worn at this point since I've been using it for the past 2 seasons. So I got my hands on this Nobby Nic, and since it's getting winter season, autumn season, the trails get slippery very fast. The trails are always covered with some layer of moist leaves. The roots and rocks are always damp, and yeah, it's sketchy sometimes. So I've decided to use the Nobby Nic instead of the wickedwill. Given the tire specs, the Nobby Nic should be somewhat more grippy and better in such situations. People often refer to it as the mini Magic Mary, so whoever knows the Magic Mary knows what I'm talking about. And immediately after the switch, I have noticed that the tire, the Nobby Nic, felt very similar to the wickedwill, very familiar. Right on the first ride, I just felt I could trust the tire. It's not the same feeling I have had with the Maxxis, especially with the new forecaster, the version 2, or the specialized ground control, which I needed some time to get used to. With the Nobby Nic, I felt right at home. It's probably due to the fact that I've been using the wickedwill, and also that I have used the old Nobby Nic 2.35 several years ago, which is probably my favorite tire of them all, of all time. It's like a 740 gram trail tire with same knobs as the new Nobby Nic. However, it's much lighter. In the case of my particular example, which I have now on the front tire, the difference is 200 grams. So this Nobby Nic at the front now has like 940 grams, which is pretty heavy. According to the specs, it should be 850. So it's a bit overweight, almost 100 grams, which I don't think it's okay. But since it's the front tire, I can live with it. Given the grip and braking stability it provides, I got over it. Sadly, the old Nobby Nics with the snakeskin casing and 700 grams are not available anymore. Although I love those tires, I have to use the new ones now, which are also great in my opinion. It's the, I think, perfect trail tire. It offers good grip, good rolling resistance. It can be used both on cross-country bikes as the front tire. You can use it on an enduro bike as the rear tire. And the Super Ground casing, at least in my opinion, is totally sufficient. I've never had problems with the Super Ground casing. It would be hair splitting to tell that I can feel the difference in the weight, although the Nobby Nic is 100 grams heavier than the wickedwill, and it should be somewhat slower rolling, but it's probably marginally noticeable, especially if you're not racing for very serious reasons. Then you probably won't notice it. As on the climbs, typically for the front tire, unless you do a big jump, you can't feel the difference. On tarmac, so on paved roads, the difference is, in my opinion, negligible. Both roll very good, but as mentioned, the front tire is not that important. The biggest surprise to me was this right familiar feel. When I've tried Maxxis tires, both the forecasters version 1 and 2 and the Specialized ground control T7 and the Conti Cryptotal front, all of those tires, let's say I need 1-2 rides to get used to them. But with the Nobby Nic, on the first try, I have this familiar feeling that I know the tire, that I know how it will behave, and where is the limit of these tires. As for the compound, I absolutely love the SpeedGrip compound. It's a great mix of rolling speed and grip. I've tried the Nobby Nic, also 2.4 Super Ground in the soft casing, and I didn't like it. It was very grippy, but the slower rolling speed due to the softer compound could be felt, which is not the case with the SpeedGrip. It rolls noticeably faster, while I didn't felt that I needed the grip of the soft compound. I didn't felt that the SpeedGrip is lacking in grip. I think you will much sooner get to the limits of the tread on the Nobby Nic than that you will be on the limits of the compound. So in my opinion, the SpeedGrip is totally sufficient, especially for those short trail bikes or downcountry bikes. It's a great combination, I think. For me, the biggest surprise or the biggest plus point of this tire is its overall very good performance in all conditions, in all situations. So especially with the Specialized ground control, the tire was very good in dry conditions, but as soon as it got wet, I didn't like the tire. Also, the shoulder knobs were somewhat, I don't know, weird to me. I couldn't get used to them. I had multiple situations where I had front wheel washouts due to weirdly feeling side knobs, which I didn't have with, for example, the Nobby Nic, both forecasters, version 1 and version 2, and with the Grip Total. So the only gripe I have with the Nobby Nic is its weight. As said, it's 950 grams, while it should be 850. It's a bit overweight, 100 grams to be exact, which I think is not okay. If it would be the correct weight, I would recommend this tire 100%. But in that regard, it's the same weight as the Forecaster V2, which is okay. I think those tires are very similar. While the Nobby Nic has slightly more pronounced central tread, the Forecaster has more pronounced shoulder knobs, and the Forecaster has this bigger gap between the intermediate and side knobs. So basically that means if you are used to Maxxis tires tend to have this gap, and you are a more advanced rider, you will probably prefer the Forecaster because you can use it on its limit. I am not that advanced, although I could use the Forecaster pretty much as equally as the Nobby Nic, but with the Nobby Nic I feel like I have more confidence with this tire. I don't know, I like it better. If it would be 850 grams, it would be the clear winner. Compared to the old Forecaster, the V1, I think the Nobby Nic has its edge on it. It's much better gripping, it's similarly rolling, and it's similarly predictable, but I think it's better on braking and much better in terms of grip, as the new Forecaster also. So we are coming now to a very interesting descent. I've been riding this descent previous week with the Racing Ray at the back, and I felt that it lacked grip on the braking on the lower part of this funny trail, because there are a lot of rocks and I just couldn't get the braking stability I like. That's why I've also decided to switch to the wickedwill, since I wanted to see how much is the fish on this descent and if I can get a good Strava time. But I have also to mention that today the conditions are better. Someone of the guys here, the locals, have cleaned the trail, so kudos to the guys. Ivica or Manuel, I think. Great job, guys, thank you. Oh. Now this fun part. Yeah, it's far easier to ride the trail when it's clean and there are no leaves. Yeah, right away I feel the difference on braking with the wickedwill, although it is slipping a bit over those roots, but it offers much more control while braking compared to the Racing Ray, which is quite worn. It was great when it was new, but since it's a bit worn, it's not that stable anymore. the rear feels much better with the wicked wheel. Oh, that was fun. The braking performance with the wicked wheel on the back is much better, and overall the bike feels much more balanced now in terms of braking. With the Racing Ray and Nobby Nic combination, especially the worn out Racing Ray, I have felt like there's a too large gap in terms of braking capabilities of the tire between the Nobby Nic and the Racing Ray. They had to be much more cautious with the rear brake. It would be far easier to lock the rear wheel and then lose totally the balance, especially on some off-camber situations like we had on this trail now. It's a similar story. As mentioned 2 years ago, I have been riding the soft compound Nobby Nic on the front. I was combining it with the Rocketron on the back, and it was a similar story. In terms of braking, those tires had also a large gap, and it was very easy to lock up the Rocketron, and it wasn't as confidence inspiring as you would want on some rock descents. So that's why it's never a good idea to have a large gap in performance of the front and back tire if using different models of the tire, front and back. So a similar story, my racing Rapina, I've been using the wicked wheel on the front and the Thunderbird on the rear, although it was dry almost everywhere, some few wet spots, but I just felt I've touched the rear brake and the Thunderbird would lock up. It was very skittery, although the bike was blazing fast, uncomparable to the setup now. It was probably 15% faster in my, or at least it felt so. And also it was surprisingly grippy on the descents, but in terms of braking, I didn't love it. So if you care about braking performance and you rely on your brakes as much as I do, since I like to brake at the last possible moment in order to carry as much speed as possible through the turns, don't go too wild and too different on your tires. Try to keep one level up or down. So basically, if using a Nobby Nic at the front, use a wicked wheel at the back. Or if using a wicked wheel at the front, use a Racing Ray, or for example Rocketron or Racing Ralph at the back. Don't try to mix the cross-country tires, the Ron, Ralph or Ray, with the trail tire Nobby Nic. So as for those flat gravel sections and single trail, while it remains flat, I literally can't feel the difference between the Racing Ray at the back or the wicked wheel at the back. I don't feel that the wicked wheel is that much slower rolling, maybe a bit, but as long as you don't race, I don't think you will notice it or feel it too much. 5% to 10% the most. I wouldn't say it's much more. Also, while pointing the bike down, I don't feel that it needs much more time to accelerate than with the Racing Ray. It feels as sprightly as it was with the Ray. So all in all, I think I'm satisfied with the switch, but let's wait for the last part of the descent where we have some very wet rocks, at least they were yesterday. Then I will give my final conclusion. What do I think about the new setup I've got. The bike feels pretty much exactly as yesterday, so I'm not noticing the slower rolling of the wickedwill, but I think I would notice it when I would be in my race pace. I'm now at 130, 140 heart rate beats per minute. At races I'm about 160, 165. So, and here we have a left turn, sharp left, and then we are coming to this single trail with the nice drop on it. Try to get as much speed as possible, because you will need it to clear the drop. I've created a small shortcut here, and here's the drop. Whee! Nice. Kudos to Patrick, Tomislav and Denis. The drop is great. I appreciate the work you've done, guys. And that's it with the single. Now we have some steep uphill gravel and then the final descent. I have to mention one problem I see with the Super Ground casing. Although it's totally enough in terms of puncture resistance, but you have to be careful with your tire pressure if you like jumps, drops and aggressive riding, because if you drop it too low, the casing might squirm under the rim and you might crash. So be careful. When I landed that drop and one jump or two jumps after it, I have noticed some tire burping on my front tire. So it wasn't the most pleasant feeling. I like the course the guys made for today's race, which I didn't participate in because I was too tired, but the course is great. North Croatia League first round. They took all the fun parts and made them downhills, and all the boring parts, the gravelly parts, as uphills. So kudos Patrick, Denis, Tomislav for organizing this cool race. Here I had yesterday problems, today also a bit. Yep, similar problems as yesterday, but I didn't slip as much as yesterday, so it was a good idea to take the wickedwill as a rear tire. So basically my conclusion for my tire swap and for the Nobby Nic wickedwill combination, I think they are great. It's a great combo. Very similar as the Maxxis Forecaster and Recon, but I feel like the Schwalbe combo is a bit faster, especially on the uphill, since the wickedwill is almost 100 grams lighter than the Recon, and also I feel like it's much better rolling. So in terms of grip, I would say the bike feels equal or similar as with the Forecaster version 2 and the Recon, but in terms of rolling, it rolls much faster than with the Maxxis. Also the schwalbetires, due to the lighter wickedwill, are also as combination 100 grams lighter, and yeah, I feel them as more familiar to my riding style. I don't know, what do you think, guys, about my recommendation and discussion. Do you prefer the Forecaster V2 and Recon or Wickedwill and Nobby Nic? What is your experience with those tires or any other combination? Feel free to comment down below. If you still haven't subscribed to my channel, help the growth of my channel, and yeah, so you will not miss any further videos. Leave a like for me if you have liked my third episode of the Tyre Trail Talk, and see you